You have been working harder than most people around you. The results are not matching the effort, and the standard answer is always the same. Work harder. The classical system has a different explanation entirely. For thousands of years, the Chinese have believed that the moment you are born shapes the entire arc of your life. Not your star sign, not your personality, the precise elemental forces in motion at the exact second you took your first breath. I am Mr. Shu. I read those forces for a living. On this channel, I take the classical system of BaZi and apply it to the questions people are actually asking: career decisions, relationships, whether the difficulty you are experiencing right now is temporary or structural, whether the opportunity in front of you is real or a distraction. No vague monthly forecasts, no items to purchase, just the system applied honestly. Today, we are breaking down what the classical system actually says about how wealth arrives, and why the advice most people are following was built for a different structure than theirs. Let us get into it. BaZi does not have one model for wealth, it has two. And most people spend their entire working life optimizing for the wrong one. Here is where this starts to matter. From the moment most of us are old enough to think about money, we are handed one instruction: work hard, stay consistent. The results will follow. That instruction comes from parents, from teachers, from employers, from every productivity book and motivational corner of the internet. And it is not wrong. It is just incomplete. The classical system of BaZi maps wealth as a structural channel, not a behavior, not a habit, a channel, and it identifies two of them. The reason this matters is straightforward. If you are a person whose channel runs one way and you spend 20 years applying instructions built for the other channel, the effort is real, but the returns stay thin, not because you are failing, because the model you were handed was never built for your structure. That is what we are looking at today. The first of those two channels is the one most people assume they are already running, and for some of them, they are right. The first channel is what the classical system calls direct wealth, earned, accumulated, built through process and consistency over time. If you are a direct wealth person, money moves toward you in a straight line. You put effort in, returns come out. The connection is clear, measurable, predictable. This is the salary held and grown over years. The career ladder climbed methodically, not dramatically. The investment portfolio that compounds because it is never panic sold. The direct wealth person does not need drama to feel progress. They feel progress through stability, a clear role, a defined path, a number that increases steadily at the end of every month. When those things are present, they produce well, they plan well, they sleep well. Here is where the misalignment happens for this structure. The direct wealth person gets restless. They watch someone else take a risk and win. They read about someone who left a stable job and built something remarkable, and they absorb the wrong lesson. They think, I should do that too. So they step out of their channel. They start a side business with no guaranteed income. They chase a speculative investment because everyone around them is. They leave structure behind in search of something that feels more exciting. And the results crater. Not because those paths are wrong in general, because they pulled someone out of the channel that was quietly working and into a channel that was never theirs to run. The system does not call that ambition. It calls that misalignment. The second channel is the one that gets misread the most, and that misread tends to be expensive. The second channel is what the system calls indirect wealth, and this is where most of the confusion lives. Indirect wealth does not accumulate through process. It arrives through people, through timing, through positioning yourself in the right place and being known by the right person at the right moment. The person running this channel does not build money brick by brick. They find themselves in a moment where something significant moves at once, and then another moment, and another. This is not luck. This is a structural pattern the classical texts mapped centuries ago. Here is what it looks like in a real life. Someone spends 3 years grinding in a role and gets nowhere visible. Then has one dinner with the right contact. 6 months later, they are in a position that changed everything, or a business that barely moved for 2 years. Then one relationship, one introduction, one person who believed in them at the right moment, and the thing took off in a way that years of grinding alone never produced. From the outside, people call that lucky. The classical system has a different word for it: structural. Here is where the misread happens. When an indirect wealth person is told to work harder, to output more, to push through the plateau, they try, and it does not work. Because the channel does not respond to volume, it responds to presence. Relationships maintained quietly over years. Reputation built without rushing it. Showing up consistently to the rooms where the right people already are. The indirect wealth person has often been told their whole life that they are not trying hard enough. The system says they were never supposed to try that way. That is not a comfort. That is a correction. So here is where this leaves you. Most people who feel stuck financially are not stuck because they lack discipline. They are stuck because they have been applying the wrong model to the wrong channel. And that is not a personal failure, that is a framing problem. The question the classical system is actually asking is not, are you working hard enough? It is, are you working in the direction your structure supports? Direct wealth rewards effort and process. Indirect wealth rewards positioning and presence. Neither is superior. Neither is more admirable. They are different channels, and the channel you are running determines which inputs produce results and which ones drain without return. The system does not ask you to work less. It asks you to work correctly. Carry that question into this week, not as a conclusion, as a starting point. In the next episode, I'm shifting to a different system entirely, all because BaZi tells you how wealth arrives through people and structure. But there is a second question most people never think to ask. Is the physical space you live in supporting that channel, or quietly working against it? The classical system of feng shui identifies a specific part of every home that most directly governs financial energy. Most people have never heard of it, and most people have no idea what is currently sitting in that space. That is what we are looking at next. If you want to catch that when it drops, subscribe on YouTube. That is where every full episode goes first. Subscribing means it comes straight to you rather than you having to find it. If you spend more time on TikTok than YouTube, I post everything there as well, full videos and shorter cuts. The link is in the description. If this episode gave you something useful, a like helps more people find this kind of content. The algorithm surfaces it to the people who would benefit most from it. That is the only reason I ask. I am Mr. Shu. I will see you in the next one.